Today, we're going to talk about a case out of Meerut, India that is just as chilling as it is tragic. It starts out looking like a love story, but it ends with a discovery so grim, it absolutely horrified the entire nation. And that's really the big question here, isn't it? How does something that starts with love end up like this? We're going to trace the couple's journey, look at the crime that completely shattered their lives, and really dig into the dark motives that were hiding just beneath the surface. So let's start at the very beginning. Our story is about two people, Saurav Rajput, who used to work in the Merchant Navy, and his wife, Muskan Rastogi. Now, their story began with what's known as a love marriage back in 2016. In India, this can be a big deal, often going against the tradition of arranged marriages. It suggests they had a really strong, independent bond. They built a life together in the city of Meerut and even had a young daughter. From the outside, you'd think they were just a normal, happy family. Yeah, that whole picture of a normal family, it was about to be completely shattered. The very first sign that something was terribly, terribly wrong was when Saurabh just suddenly vanished. One day in March of 2025, Saurabh was just gone, vanished without a trace. His family, his neighbors, nobody had any idea where he could be. For days, the confusion and worry just kept growing, until finally a missing person report was filed and an official investigation kicked off. And what the police found, well, it was far worse than anyone could have possibly imagined. This is where the story takes a really dark turn, going from a missing person case to a truly brutal murder investigation. On social media, this case got a name, and it is a chilling one: the cement drum murder. The name tells you everything you need to know about the horrifying method used to hide the crime. A method designed to hide a body, maybe forever. What's just so shocking here is the sheer calculation involved. Let's just walk through the steps the police uncovered. On March 4th, Saurabh was killed by his wife, Muskan, and her lover, Sahil Shukla. Then they dismembered his body, put the parts inside a large drum, and filled it up with cement and sand, sealing it completely. This was not some crime of passion. No, this was a cold, premeditated plan to literally erase a person from existence. So, with a crime this gruesome, the first question on everyone's mind is just why? At first, all these wild rumors started flying around, but the police, they just methodically cut through all that noise to get to the actual motive. And the difference between the rumors and reality is pretty stark. Initially, some people in the area were whispering about black magic, a wild, sensational theory. But the reality the police uncovered was sadly a lot more common, though no less devastating: an extramarital affair and fights over money. So the police basically boiled it down to a few key motives. At the absolute heart of it was Muskan's affair with Sahil Shukla. On top of that, there were constant fights between her and Saurabh about their marriage, about their finances, and then Saurabh's family added another layer, claiming that Muskan's intentions were never pure, that she had only married him for his money and property right from the start. But discovering the crime and the motive, that was really just the beginning. The fallout was immense, not just for the accused, but for the entire community around them. So how did the police build such a strong case? Well, they used all the modern tools in their toolbox. They painstakingly pieced together the timeline using CCTV footage, they traced all the calls and messages between the accused using their call records, and, of course, they used forensic evidence to confirm it was Saurabh. Piece by piece, the net just closed in around them. And if you want to get a real sense of just how thorough their work was, get this. The final charge sheet filed against Muskan and Sahil was a staggering 1,000 pages long. That's not just paperwork. That's a mountain of evidence. Forensic reports, witness statements, digital trails, all put together to make sure justice was served. The horror of this case wasn't just confined to a courtroom. Oh no. The story went viral, and it became a huge topic of conversation all over the country. The social backlash was severe, especially for Muskan's family. They faced so much anger and were so boycotted by their community that they were actually forced to sell their home and leave. All right, so let's just do a quick recap of this whole tragic story. The victim, Saurabh Rajput. The accused, his wife, Muskan, and her lover, Sahil. The crime, a premeditated murder and dismemberment on March 4th, 2025.
The motive? A toxic mix of an affair and domestic disputes. And the investigation? A rock solid case built on meticulous police work.
And all of this brings us to one final, really unsettling thought. The story of Sarab and Muskan started out as a love story, but it's now this chilling reminder of just how destructive secrets can be. It really forces you to ask, how fragile is the trust we put in the people closest to us? And can things like greed and deceit truly destroy any relationship, no matter how pure it seemed at the beginning?